So the international break is almost here, but before the league takes a break, there's a big round of games ahead on Friday night. I'm joined by Aidan Fitzmaurice to look ahead to this weekend's League of Ireland fixtures. I suppose, Aidan, first, there's a lot of games you could start with, but just starting with Bohs and Pats. Pats had a stuttering start to the season, but kind of got back to winning ways with back-to-back wins. Bohs really needed that win last week, and two teams kind of coming into this game full of confidence.
Yeah, I think Bohs really needed that win. I think would have been huge pressure going into this game if they'd lost in Waterford. It was very convincing first half away to Waterford, and it proves a point to get as well that Bohs much stronger away from home than they are at home. Something they're going to have to look at, so that's probably the look this weekend. Glad to be out of Dalymount and in Richmond. I think the key for Bohs is they switched it around. The two key signings last year were Ross Tierney and Dawson Devoy, bringing players back to the club. And really wasn't clicking this year. The feeling was where the undroppable Lannon Reynolds made the big call last week to drop Ross Tierney. So what does he do with the team this week? Is that going to be a regular thing? Does he touch around that midfield every week or freshen it up every week? And a challenge for others like Adam McDonald, people like that, to come in and show that they should be in the team. So certainly Bohs a lot more confident going to Richmond Park than they were the previous week.
Pat's still missing a few players, a lot of midfield players with injury issues, but it could be a battle of the strikers between Aidan Keena, top scorer, started the season in fine form, and Colin Whelan with his first hat-trick in a couple of years last weekend.
Yeah, I suppose the advantage for Pats is they have options. Bohs don't really. Lees Musay still clearly isn't up to fitness. You can see that in he started on the first day of the season, but hasn't started since. Tried to get out of the game for 13 months, needs to catch that up.
Is that a real worry, just coming into the 6 week of the season?
I don't think so, because he was out for so long, and because of just his experience where he's been, he probably has his own rehab, his own way of doing things. I'm sure he's built up his own practice, his own way, so I wouldn't be too worried. If after 2 months he still isn't up to speed, then you're worried. But the problem for Bohs is that they have Whelan. If Whelan isn't available or is injured early on, Musay isn't a great option off the bench, whereas Pats have Melia and Keena. So Pats, I think, still have problems in central midfielders. Still, Chris Foster still isn't 100% fit. They need to get players back. They're missing Jamie Lemon. McKean Levy is a huge loss for them. So I think Pats, we won't really probably see this full St. Pats until they've all those players back.
Moving on to Shelbourne hosting Cork on Friday night. Shell's suffering their first defeat of the season. A big shock against Drogheda last week, and Cork coming in and hoping for a good result in the capital, so should be a good game.
Yeah, I think interesting to see how Shell's handled that. And again, Damien Duffy seemed quite puzzled when we spoke to him after the Drogheda game on Friday, how it happened. We wondered, why did it happen? That's not to discredit Waterford. They were on form. You can see they 1 goal in 5, an amazing record. So how come Pats Shelbourne were so slow against them? But that's not to take away from the achievement of Drogheda. So I think there'll be a bit of thinking going on. I think we'll see a few changes in personnel. I think Dame Duff will probably want to freshen it up a little bit, and just a little bit of concern that kind of complacency or just it wasn't right. Just again, the same example from Drogheda, just being very, very impressive, clinical, get a goal early on, hold on to it, very strong defensively. So I think Shells will need a little bit of a tweak of formation.
You mentioned Drogheda there. Incredible start of the season for them, coming into this week top of the table. And as you said last week, it was the second time they've come to the capital, scored an early goal, held on and got a big win.
Yeah, and a settled team. A lot of managers like making changes. They like changing things around. Some managers like that statement of a half-time, 2 or 3 substitutions at half-time. Kevin Doherty doesn't do that. It's more or less the same 11 every week. And, relying on players who really have come on so much. Conor Keeley's been immense. Darren Markey, probably the best midfielder in the league at the moment. Thomas Alua, who really flitted around the league. I think he was at 6, 7, 8 clubs, never really settled, made an impression. He's really, really working so hard. And they have players to come back. Alicia Hui, Douglas James Taylor, players like that to come back. So and this isn't a flash in the pan. So Drogheda are doing well now. When they add the 3-4 players who are absent, add that to the team, I think they're looking strong this weekend.
Drogheda hosting Shamrock Rovers in Louth, and Drogheda obviously coming into the game 2 points top of the table. When was the last time, usually when Shamrock Rovers come to Louth, they're the leaders, and it's quite a change of events. But Rovers needed that result just to get a little bit of confidence back. It was a kind of stuttering start to the season for them as well. Big win against Pats last week, but Weavers Park is a stadium they've struggled in the last couple of years at times.
And that's one of those things. I remember asking some Roland Finn before about this when he was at Rovers, about that. Do you believe in that hoodoo or something? It shouldn't matter, but there is something about Drogheda that Rovers have always struggled there. It is a tight pitch. And Roland Finn was saying it's just hard to explain. It's just one of those things that just happens in football. It shouldn't be. They struggle there. Drogheda really are so high on confidence at the moment, and they're
big home crowd expected as well.
Home crowd expected
at Sullivan Lamb Park, I should say. Of course.
But that defensive unit, that Luke Dennison isn't really making a lot of saves at the moment. I don't know who's considered the top keeper in terms of saves or action at the moment, but Luke Dennison isn't busy because he's got that brilliant front three in front of him. And again, George Cooper came in last week. Drogheda are making those small tweaks as opposed to big ones. But I think Drogheda will see this as a chance for them just to keep that run going. And why not dream?
Drogheda remain unbeaten after the start of the season, and Galway, of course, they're the two unbeaten sides so far. Galway hosting Waterford, and in the final game as well, Sligo Rovers against Derry. So two good games there too to look forward to.
Yeah, Galway took along as usual. Changed last week. Brendan Clark moving out. Still hasn't been explained what happened there. And then have two new Welsh goalkeeper they signed, and then Bermudan international who signed last week. Again, Galway still looking for players, but Galway are always going to struggle for goals. You know, they're never going to be scoring 3-4-5-0.
Got a few off set pieces so far.
Yeah, so they're relying on set pieces, and that's what you get from John Caulfield's side. It works very strong at home. They're not giving many goals away, and I think once they get better striking options, I think Galway are probably looking to the summer and seeing can they add more to try and get that where they're missing in terms of goals. But Galway fans will be pretty happy with the start they've had.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you can follow all the latest League of Ireland content with the Irish Independent.